Hello! This video presentation is going to focus on some linguistic skills humans possess that are key in our communication process. Certainly, linguistic is a complex and enormous field with many branches and concepts. This video presentation is made by my companion, Franco, and myself, Enzo Corsini. So I hope you enjoy it. First of all, we have to ask a crucial question. What is linguistics? Now, linguistics can be described as the science that studies language. This type of science is considered to be descriptive and not prescriptive due to the fact that linguistics do not establish any type of rules to any type of language. What it actually does is that describes the rules a language already has. Linguistics is capable of studying a language in 4 different ways. The first way linguistics can study a language is in a synchronic manner, where a language is studied inside a specific point in time, like for example in a specific year, like 1980s. Language can also be studied in a diachronic manner, where a language is studied in a time lapse. For example, all the 90s or all the 80s or all the 2000s. Using linguistics in a theoretical manner enables the study of a specific or a general point of a language. And the use of linguistics in an applied manner uses those same studies into practice or as a way to teach others. Now that we have talked that linguistics is the study of the language, we also have to ask ourselves, what is language? The term language can be divided into 2 meanings. The first of those meanings is the capability of the self to communicate to one another. The second term means the cluster of spoken and or written words that a language can have on a determined location, such as English, Chinese, Spanish, or any other language. Language, as a form of communication, represents one of humankind's greatest treasures. One of the major differences the humans and the animal kingdom have is the ability to properly communicate. Even though animals communicate, they do not have a proper language, making this attribute one of the most precious capabilities the humans have. Taking into consideration that the human language is extremely special, and only humans are capable to communicate in such a complex way, George Joule states that there are 5 characteristics of the human language. The first one being displacement. Displacement is the ability to communicate beyond the here and now. Humans can communicate in relation with time, places, objects, ideas, and many more. Humans are also capable to tell lies or to not say truthful things, something that only we can do. The second characteristic is arbitrariness. This means that there is no inherent relationship between the signs and their respective meanings. With signs, we refer to letters and words or phrases. This characteristic also enables the language to evolve and include many more things into the signs. The third characteristic is productivity. Productivity is the ability to create new words and meanings, combining the building bricks of language into new utterances. They can be words, sounds, and even phrases. The fourth characteristic is cultural transmission. Chomsky states that there is no genetic trait that allows people to start talking in a language in the same way dogs start to bark or spiders do their webs. Animals do have genetic traits that make them communicate without previous knowledge or influence. Humans, on the other side, acquire a language by external influences. The fifth and final characteristic is called duality. This characteristic refers to the double articulations the human communication has. The double articulation can also refer to the layers, being the first layer composed by discrete sounds, that are inherent to each language. Just in English, there are 44 phonemes. The second layer refers to the almost unlimited individual sounds that combined are able to provide various meanings in one language or another. Language is proven to be a cognitive skill. Therefore, it is known that the language is controlled by two main sections of the brain, those being the Broca and the Wernicke areas, both located on the left hemisphere of the brain.
We know linguistics is a science that studies language, and we know language is a cognitive skill. But now, what about linguistic skills? Well-developed linguistic skills are required for proficiency in any language, but they're especially relevant when it comes to fluency in a second language. And what is fluency anyways? Lennon defines it as the impression on the listener's part that the psycholinguistic processes of speech planning and speech production are functioning easily and efficiently. Basically, the impression that the speaker has well-developed cognitive linguistic skills that allow them to express themselves in the language with ease. For his part, psychologist distinguishes three types of fluency: cognitive fluency, utterance fluency, and perceived fluency. We'll focus especially on the first two, cognitive fluency and utterance fluency. Cognitive fluency has to do with a speaker's ability to plan and deliver an oral production, while utterance fluency has to do with a steady flow of speech. To measure it, we use temporal parameters, such as the length of pauses, the speed of speech, and how often speakers use false starts, make corrections, or repeat themselves. The relationship between these two cannot be ignored, as it is extremely important. After all, cognitive fluency has a massive influence in utterance fluency, and therefore overall proficiency in any language.